Welcome to Lesson 1, and thank you for taking the self-assessment test. We will make reference to it throughout the expected learning outcomes as we proceed with the course. Before we start Lesson 1, please review the expected learning outcomes for this lesson on the course wall. And because we have different spaces, we have different activities, we have different occupations, it would not be possible for us to all come online and make an analysis for each and every one of us. So you look at the expected learning outcomes and apply them as we continue with each and every lesson. So let's begin. What should we take away from this class? Let's start with what we can take away. Now, depending on our life roles, activities, or work, number one, if you are working from home or involved in domestic chores in the home space, what is it that you can take away from this lesson? Let's remember that many of the daily chores we do at home involve untargeted, incorrect body movements and postures. Even though we may pride ourselves that we are doing active work, most of it is usually untargeted, and you can see that from the way people age in ill health despite having been engaged in house chores. So what can we do? We should intentionally adapt our homes and our work to fit the capacity of our bodies so that when we advance in age, and we continue to enjoy good health. Through this course, we are going to see how to adapt our work and whether you're working from home or whatever the workspace that you're in. Practicing ergonomic principles, correct postures, is also an investment of health in the present and in retirement. Many times we think of financial investments and saving for retirement without thinking of how to invest in health. Most times we make plans for financial freedom, for retirement, but we rarely think that health will have a cost in the future. So we need to think of our health costs, because presently the cost of ill health for the elderly persons accounts for almost 50% of their running expenditures. Even with insurance or without insurance, there'll be a dent or an impact to cost of health if we don't take care of ourselves in the present as an investment for the future. So even if you're an employee, again, always think of the ergonomic principles which we are going to learn as an investment of health in the present and also in retirement. If you are an employer, the cost benefits for asking your staff to take this course are enormous. Proper health giving practices will contribute to reduced sick-offs and absenteeism. It will also contribute to reduced health insurance payments and premiums. It will increase the morale of your staff from better work conditions. If they are practicing good habits while doing their work, they come out of work feeling well. They don't come out of work feeling fatigued or stressed and asking for sick-offs every so often. So with a high morale, you'll have a big turnover. And of course, with less sick-offs and less absenteeism, you will have reduced insurance payments or premiums. It is also a positive contribution to the whole organization growth, as I have already explained, concerning the cost benefits of good health coming out of practicing good health habits in the workspace. Number 4, if you are self-employed, both of the scenarios I've explained will apply to you. And self-employed may be in the field, it may be in the office, it may be at home. So wherever you set up your work, just remember that all these will benefit you. Whether it's health premiums, it's reduced sick-offs, it is targeted movements, it's also saving for the future, also about insurance, whatever we have already mentioned will benefit you. So in summary, let's all fit the work to the body rather than fit the body to the work. This is our ongoing mantra, which we will keep talking about and reminding ourselves. Now, during our youthful years, it may seem there is no direct link between long-term illness and the work that we do, how we do it, and where it is done. However, as we are going to see in this course, all these impact on our health. A common example is low back pain. A small percentage of low back pain is caused by disease, disc slip, disc fracture, infection, or cancer. However, the majority of conditions which cause pain in the lower back transition from a simple incident. It may have developed from maybe an accident in childhood or early adulthood which you actually forgot about. What is important here is that whenever you go for medical attention and you and your GP are unable to understand where the cause or how the condition is running, it's also good to give your occupational history. What are the activities you have been involved in, whether it is sports or at work, that can contribute to injury or ill health. In this way, we are able to understand the cause and also be able to work better on managing the condition. So some of these illnesses, as I have described of low back pain, they actually develop to chronic and lifelong disabling conditions. We definitely do not want to enter that. We want us to have a long life, which is free of ill health and full of vitality and well-being. Many times, the onset of when it all began may not easily be identified, just as I've said, but the causes may include any of the following. Sedentary work postures like prolonged sitting are a very big culprit to causing ill health, or prolonged pressure on body parts like the wrist against the edge of the desk while typing. This is an important thing to note because most of us now are using laptops which were not designed for the desk. So that means we are typing on a laptop on the desk, and what happens to the wrist? It creates pressure points against the edge of the desk. Also, when you're using the desktop, we do realize that, and we will see this in the ergonomic principles, that the keyboard is supposed to be in a lower drawer of the desk while the monitor is supposed to be on top. Now, many of us now have both the keyboard and the monitor on the desktop. This is causing a problem for wrist injuries. It's becoming a common issue. So please assess yourself. Suppose you're using computers or any other activity that involves the desktop. Pay special attention to your wrist and how the hand moves. Another cause may be repetitive movements like lifting and placing. If there's a place where there's no mechanization or additional robots, you find that the human body is not accustomed to repeated lifting and placing, especially if it is in wrong posturing. To bring us to speed, let's see what the World Health Organization says. About back pain, for instance, WHO tells us that approximately 7.5% of cumulative years lived with disability worldwide is contributed by back pain. What does this mean? Cumulative years are those years where you count that people who have had disability have been immobilized, either from a temporary disability like maybe a fracture of the arm, which made them temporarily disabled because they couldn't do their functions or they couldn't do their occupational functions, or a fracture of the leg from an accident, a sprain. Those are all temporary. But we do also have a big percentage of permanent disabilities which have resulted either from accidents or injuries or disease. And when we make a sum total of all the years people are living with disability, we see that they account for 7.5%. This is big. It may look small, but when you think about it, it is big. And our aim, our purpose is to reduce this percentage. In 2022, WHO also forecasts, because this is still a live document, that low back pain will continue to contribute to the overall burden of disease. Many of these back pain issues are preventable. So let's look at how we can engage with our environment in a way that contributes to good health rather than ill health, especially for the back pain. These statistics will affect populations in at least 160 countries with a prevalence rate of 570 million persons worldwide. So this is just for us to orientate our minds as we think about ill health that is associated with the workspace. And we also think of how to prevent or lower that prevalence rate. Okay, so we will need to adopt practices that support the back, both to function optimally and to prevent injuries or disease. The concept of correct work posture is related to the science of ergonomics. If we go further into what is ergonomics, ergonomics is a term derived from the Greek language, which loosely refers to ergon, meaning work, and normoi, referring to the natural elements that surround work. Ergonomics is concerned with the person's interaction with the environment in which he works and in which he rests and how
how he conducts his leisure activities.
Don't forget that even when you're resting, whenever you go to bed, you should have the correct mattress or correct bed for your rest, because if you don't rest well in correct postures, you wake up already fatigued, and yet you're supposed to go into the daily activities. So all these activities are important, how we perform them, whether it's at work, it's at rest, or whether it's a leisure activity. Ergonomics also refers to our capabilities and limitations in performing the work that we do. The overarching principle that is ongoing, we have already said, think about who you are, not only the physical, but also psychologically, biologically, mentally. Are you able to perform the work that you have? If not, how can you adapt yourself or adapt the work so that it fits to your body capabilities? Many times you cannot change who you are, so it's better that you adapt the work rather than adapt yourself. Now, can you already look around your environment or workspace? What changes can you make on the tools or equipments? Do you have an adjustable desk? Do you have an adjustable chair? Look at your stature. Is it body comfortable as you perform your daily activities? And ergonomic changes don't have to be costly. They don't have to be the big changes that you make around your environment in order to be comfortable. Here are some examples. You can adjust the seat, the table, or the size of screen or monitor, the position of the monitor, the position of your laptop. All these are adjustments that can contribute and give a positive impact to your health.
We are also advising
that you squat rather than bend if you need to pick items or do work that involves the floor. Of course, we cannot avoid bending every so often, but whenever it is that now it becomes a repetitive pattern, you'd rather squat than bend. For instance, if you're using a mop for the house, look at the length of the handle. Does it require you to bend? Does it require you to, even if you're hoovering with a vacuum cleaner, what are the adjustments that you can make? You can adjust worktop heights and any other height to adapt to your body size or your body height. You can pad the edge of your desk. Remember, we talked about the rising prevalence of wrist injuries because of typing and pressure on the edge of the desk. You can actually pad the edge of your desk. Mouse pads, we have a way that helps you to hold the mouse in a way that does not injure your wrist. The size of the mouse should be adjusted to the size of your hand. Can you think of other examples? I'm mainly talking about people who are working with computers, but there are many other places where you do your activities, whether it's at home, whether it's in the field, how you walk, how you stand, and so on. I'd like to come to a close. In this lesson, we have introduced the concept of ergonomics in relation to work health practices. We have also learned that the onset of many disorders, including back pain, but not limited to back pain, fatigue, stress,
and even mental health issues can be traced back to how we engage with our work.
Indeed, some of them are work-related injuries and illnesses. So in the next lesson, we hope to discuss work-related health concepts that transcend from conception to death, that is lifespan, and all the stages of life that we go through. What is the dominant activity in every stage of life, and how can we work within that dominant activity to enhance our health even in the workspace? So this is the end of this lesson. Let's meet in the next space.